There is nothing against being laws, which I think Surjit Singh ji is saying laws, etc. He's against laws. Laws have to be implemented in a fair, careful, sensitive way at the highest level. Raja jab example set karega,
thank you. Thank you, Kumar Sahab. Let us have the response from our guest. Ashish, implementation. Satyajit also says that laws are not being implemented, and it is implementation which is wrong. Second thing, which is very wisely Satyajit Singh has said, is that the fault lies within us. Unless we improve our character, and these character can be improved only in schools, in colleges. Unless we do that, the corruption would continue. So this moral regeneration, which Dr. Kumar also is saying, and Sanjeev Singh also saying, this moral regeneration is not, there has been a moral degeneration of India. How far do you think it is?
Well, I think there is valid case for that. We have become quite cynical as a society. We just assume aisa hi hota hai, kuch aur ho nahi sakta.
That's right.
But then I go to the same example. We all people, when we are in India, we throw things everywhere. We come out of the airport and suddenly we're pushing around things, and if we eat something, we just throw outside on the roads.
Yeah.
And the moment we take the flight back, and in UK, same person, there's nothing changed in the person, the same person starts behaving differently. So is it that the person's value got changed on the flight of 9 hours? No, the value, that doesn't go to the whole morale of the society, the way things work, the way deterrents have been placed here, that do play a role. Of course, moral things, learning about how to do things, how to be civil in world, that's important. And I admit, as Indians in our homes, we don't get taught about that. We get taught about how to keep our house clean, how to keep our family okay, but not about how to keep our cities clean, our countries clean. That is valid case. But same time, deterrents do play a role.
Yes.
And on the second point about the laws of the land and implementation thing, and I think that's always valid case that we create a law about how the implementation will work. And I think Election Commission, if we take an example, Election Commission was always a very independent body. It could take its own decision. But till TN session came, till it showed the power of Election Commissioner, no one realized what is Election Commissioner. After TN session, every political party across Indian spectrum, they respect it, dare to take a challenge with Election Commission. I think same can happen with Lokpal. And I think what Jan Lokpal has done is they have provided various structures around it. They have provided definite guidelines on how things will work. They have provided timelines on within the timeline how things have to be addressed. And if something is not working, how can you address those things? So I think they have tried to cover through various structures within the system. The same they did with RTA Act. They had definite timelines within which the government has to respond to a query. Same way within this also, the whole appointment of Lokpal is very accountable. It will be well publicized through the website, etc. And then how the cases will be handled, the timelines for that, the set of guidelines for punishments and how people have to be punished if they don't do the things they're supposed to do, that all structures are in place. So there is a good hope that within all these structures, when they are put them together, the things will work better than they are working right now.
Sanjeev Singh, will it satisfy you?
Can I just on implementation? You know, you talked about the Election Commission and you talked about Lokpal and having things. And just like that, the BBC is an autonomous organization in this country. But the government still chooses the BBC's Director General or Chief Executive, they want to call him now, or whatever it is, the head of the BBC. Since the government, so if for some reason the government was so inclined to start putting their own person in there, they could do it. So same thing is going to happen with the Lokpal. At the end of it, it will be the government of the day. The government of the day still appoints Supreme Court judges in India. And we had a case in the 1970s when the then Prime Minister superseded 3 judges to bring in a 4th one, Justice Bhagwati, who were more in line with that Prime Minister's way of thinking. So all I'm trying to, I keep coming back to this. I think in some ways, one thing that hasn't come out, which is surprising given your background, is been technology that makes the difference. Since we've got electronic voting machines in India, things have made a difference. Once you start bringing technology, so you take the person out of it. When I grew up in India, if you wanted a railway ticket, the guy used to write it by hand. If I give him 50 rupees, the guy will write my name over your name. Today, unfortunately, he doesn't have the thing because the computer says list closed. So that becomes less. Same thing with airline tickets. So thing with so I think if you asked me initially what was the way to do it, I think the increased use of technology, you take out the man's discretion. The minute you take out a man's discretion, you reduce, I will not say eliminate, you reduce the potential for corruption. And that's the way I would go rather than some of the other things that are happening around me.
Another thing which I think has come out in this discussion is about the Indian habit. I, for example, if I am driving in Delhi, I wouldn't mind horn every second. But the moment I come to England, I cannot do it because law has forbidden.
It's more than law, I think. It's more than law. It is the environment. Everybody there is blowing their horn.
Yeah.
And so you get into that. Here you go through it. I can't remember the last time I actually touched my horn, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. I may have blown my horn once.
What about anti-dowry laws? There are laws.
Classic example.
There are laws in India against dowry. Openly, in fact, it is forbidden. It is forbidden to give dowries. But people, in spite of the law, they still give dowries.
That's the point about implementation. You can have very good laws, but we need
Is it
to
not
have...
because of the personal content, the priest, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, it is their duty to tell these people, what I is moral regeneration of the people of India. And in fact, because we ourselves we are secular, secular does not mean that we get rid of the moral values of ours.
They cut across every faith, so it doesn't really matter.
So unfortunately, what has happened is that in India, the moral degeneration has crept in, either because of too much freedom, less discipline, or because of less real education, which should be the character education. Here in schools, in private schools or other schools, character education is considered very important. In India, it is how you pass, who gets 90% marks, how by hook or by crook, get 90% marks, and somehow try to go into the universities. For what purpose? To make more money afterwards. So money has become the nexus of all progress in India. That has to change. That has to change because happy life, good life, contented life does not depend on money only. And unfortunately, unless people in India, our younger generation, does not feel that moral regeneration is as important in making a child into a proper man, then there will be always a problem. I'm very thankful to both my guests, very learned guests. They have discussed, and discussion is not yet finished. We will continue in our coming weekly program, which we'll be doing every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Sky 805. Please tell your friends and others, relations, so that more people can listen, and I'll be bringing some more guests next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Thanks very much.